And speaking of Starlink,
don't you mean Dishy McFlat face?
Guess what?
Right? Dishy McFlat face? Yeah.
Dishy McFlat face. So, my friends, I'm about to show you a picture of Dishy McFlat face. You've all seen it, the Starlink receiver. According to, so the beta started to roll out. This is where the public beta, where people are able to pay $100 a month for Starlink access, $500 upfront for the receiver. So not quite as aggressive as some people were hoping, but as SpaceX the beta is called Better Than Nothing. So this is the Better Than Nothing beta. And he says we guarantee it will be better than nothing. Because right now it's going to be, quite spotty. It might not always hit the numbers. It might not always, it might not always work because there could be holes in the service, but they also found that it's currently the name of the actual dish is called Dishy McFlatface, at least internally. And so this is what the email says. Basically, expect speeds from 50 megabytes per second to 150 megabytes per second, or megabits, sorry. Megabits. 50 megabits per second, 150 megabits per second. Latency from 20 milliseconds to 40 milliseconds over the next several months as we enhance the Starlink system. There will also be brief periods of no connectivity at all. Yep.
Which sounds like AT&T fiber to me.
Yeah, so par for the course, basically. That's normal for all of these people, right?
Right. But this is what we've seen coming, but we finally actually have pricing that they're starting off at $100 a month, $500 for the receiver. What do you guys think? I mean, so
I'm in.
Right now, obviously with the spotty service, it's not great, but I mean, we're only like 6 months away. By next year, that will be solid, rock solid, and easily meet, probably doing over 100 meg down, probably 100 meg up type of thing.
I need the up is what I need because I, film my face a lot for videos, and my face is very large, so it takes up a lot of storage space. So I need higher upload speeds to get my face through the internet's pipes. Well, how far north or south are you, Joe?
Y'all asked me that last time, and I'm like, I have no idea what my latitude is.
Yeah.
I think you're
is that something everybody knows but me?
Well, I happen to know because I looked it up during this stuff.
But we're actually pretty close. I think we might be on the same one. Me and you, Joe.
We might be. Basically. Yeah, we're probably close.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, you're about 32 north. 32.7.
And yet it's like 40 degrees here right now, and it's probably 72 and sunny where you are.
Yeah, it's probably.
But remind 70. Me right now and we might not, none of us might be the right use case for Starlink per se, but right now, what are all of you guys paying and what's your service? Like how much speed and how reliable is it?
I'm on AT&T fiber, and it's supposed to be like this gigabit thing, but I rarely get over like 150. Let me pull up right now.
That's impossible. There's no way you should be paying for that then. 150 is not even.
So right now I'm at 230, 240.
Are you over Wi-Fi 250?
Though? Yeah.
Or do you have your computer plugged in?
Oh. So Wi-Fi.
I'm actually Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's going to make a huge difference unless you have Wi-Fi 6.
Well, my router's just right there. I guess I could probably make it stretch.
No, but
I'm plugging in.
Plug an Ethernet cable right into that bad boy.
Yeah, because over Wi-Fi, unless you have Wi-Fi 6, I believe you can't get above like 250 or 350. I don't think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you plug that in, you'll get 5 times as much.
Maybe.
Whatever. Well, he should be getting close to 1,000. Joe's
about to go buy a $10 Ethernet cable and change his whole life.
Yeah. $5 at the Consumer Value Store.
What about you, Ben? What do you?
I have Spectrum. Well, for those of us with multiple homes in Southern California, I have Spectrum here and Cox at the other place, but it's the same. It's cable, and it's 940 megabits down and 40 megabits up. Again,
really?
Large face, need more megabits up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that through?
So it's bad.
At some point, does it go through coaxial cable?
It's all coax. That's all it is.
Okay, because that's always limiting upload speeds.
Yeah, and that's why I am really wanting this. Like as soon as they are able to get this far south, and with some amount of consistency, I'm in. Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, even if it were 100 megabits up, that's a 5x improvement, or no, sorry, 40. So that's a 2.5x improvement over what I have now. And then if they get up to 1,000 megabits up, then we're talking major. And like the deal, and not everyone this is going to matter, but for me, right, we'll go shoot, and we'll come back with I don't know 100 gigabytes of footage, and sometimes I'll need to upload that, and it'll take days.
Right.
And that just isn't. I mean, at that point. With our producer and my editor Ben, I'll just like drive over to his house with an SD card or hard drive. Here you go.
Wow.
It's not even a thing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this whenever it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
I heard, and I'm going to stick with this. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going to keep repeating it if it's a lie, that the first Lord of the Rings films, they transferred all the footage around from like the set to the edit bay and everything on iPods, like old scroll wheel iPods.
Oh, that very well could be.
Yeah,
that
just boxes of those.
That's funny. I wonder why they would do that as opposed to any other like normal hard drive.
I don't know, but that always stuck out in my head.
Did they not shoot it on film? I imagine they would. I mean, you're talking the biggest of budgets, right?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe it's
I don't know. They probably were still.
They would still digitize it though to edit it at some point.
It might not actually. So it might not have been the actual footage. It might have just been the effects work or something.
Yeah.
But they used iPods to transfer the.
That's
the
crazy.
It blows my mind how like specialized and crazy that stuff is. The whole VFX world is fascinating to me, right? Like if you look at the credits ever, like one of my son's favorite movies is Moana, and we watch it, and like there's a team of people whose only job is to animate the water. That's it. And then you have like a team of people that just do one character's hair. Like that's their job. And I'm like, that is amazing.
Well, you know how they're doing it now with like The Mandalorian?
Oh, I saw some article about this, but I didn't read through it.
It's amazing. So instead of using a blue screen or a green screen, it's just LED panels.
Yes.
And so all the backgrounds in The Mandalorian, those weren't composited in there. Those were on the set. That was the background on the panels on the wall.
Yes.
Huh.
And they had, I saw a video about this. They had what they called the brain bar. And it was like 4 or 5 people literally at this table while they were shooting, that like the director would be like, I want the background darker over there. Okay. So they would just go through and just like fix it right there on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was made so that it would like track with the camera. So as the camera rotated like this, the background would rotate as well.
You can adjust the parallax. So like say this camera is zooming out on the characters, the background will have to change too to match the parallax. Like,
and the depth of field.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
It's nuts.
Can we talk about this real quick? Because this is something I actually, Tim, let me send you a link here in the chat, because this I think is fascinating. Have you guys seen the Blackbird?
The Blackbird.
The SR-71?
No. Okay, good. All right. So I just sent you a link there, Tim, to pull up
here.
As long as we don't get copyright, we probably will. So
maybe I'll just.
I'm actually wondering. Okay, so I'll describe what you're seeing. What we're seeing here. It's a car that can actually change its size and shape, and it has these really high definition cameras all around it, so you can drive it through streets, and then CGI an actual car onto it, and when you do that, it is photorealistic. It is 100% looks exactly like a real car. And so they have footage here, like we're looking at a Mustang now. That is not a Mustang actually there. That is not real, what you're looking at.
That's
even
insane.
though it looks 1,000% real, doesn't it? It looks like absolutely perfect. So I'm wondering, because it gets to this whole story about the Mandalorian and how we can basically fake these things. The Hummer stuff. Did they use this? Because they don't. They do not have a working version of the Hummer EV.
We've talked about this before, about something. It might have been Cybertruck, because we were like, how did they get this footage of the Cybertruck with nobody ever seeing it or anything?
Right.
And that one after the Cybertruck unveiling, first off, we rode in it. And then second off, you see Elon driving it the next day.
That's how advanced the technology is. You were in that Blackbird and you thought you were in the...
That's right. It was like
Already
CGI,
Neuralink too.
like, hey, like just put these goggles on when you get in here.
They're going to prevent you from squinting too much.
Yeah. Don't take them off. Yeah. Anyways, I just think it's fascinating how all this stuff works, man, and how I don't know. Like that's why if you're unveiling a car, and I still hold. I need to like think about this more, but I feel like I could start a consulting company that just helps car companies with launches of products and design of products. And part of it is like when you unveil it, yeah, like keep it to the point, keep it short, invite the public, not just media, but the public, customers, fans, whatever. Give them test drives in it. Actually sit in the car and feel it and go around in it. And I actually applaud Ford for this because at the Mach-E event, this is what they did. Like me and everyone else got to ride in it. I'll say it was very underwhelming, but I legit got in one of these cars and rode around in it. So at the end of it, I'm like, yes, it's real. When you don't have something that you can sit in and ride around in that drives, it just feels like, okay, cool, concept car, whatever. It's not like a real thing. So I don't know.
Yep.
It's crazy how this stuff is evolving, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. But real quick, just to wrap up the whole original topic of Starlink, I think, right now, the $100 a month, the $500 receiver, I think that's totally acceptable because it is also, I think it's also its own Wi-Fi router. So you don't even need I don't think. But you can also plug Cat5 right in it to still use your own router. But at $500 and then $100 a month, it's as soon as it really is 100 meg up, 100 meg down, like reliably, that is game changing. Imagine if you're on a shoot, Ben, and you can start dumping footage while you're still on the shoot. You could bring that thing with you and just have the dish on,
I was
on
going
the
to
back
ask,
of your car or
it,
outside or whatever.
Is it portable and like self articulating or whatever? Like it'll find it?
Yes.
Or actually, it's not even that hard. Like I've done it with DirecTV satellites before, and you just pull it up on the TV, and it just tells you how good the signal is. So you just kind of move it around until and then it's like, oh, it's good.
It automatically levels, and then it has phased array antennas, so it's pointing itself wherever it needs to be, like automagically.
That's amazing.
So,
yeah,
so you really can, and you can have it on a moving vehicle. You can have it on a train, on a plane, on a car.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
if it were 100 down and 100 up today in my latitude, I would do it today. I don't know if I'd switch 100% until it was like more reliable, but yeah, I would definitely do that.
I think we're like I said, I think we're literally only about 6 months to a year away from it being totally reliable and better than those speeds already.
How many satellites do they need until I can have it though?
Well, I mean, right now you can have it. It just won't be constant. It'll be spotty,
But I thought you said I had to move north. You told me that.
But like, basically they would almost need to double it from where they're at right now in order to get really, truly like coverage everywhere in the United States.
Whatever they're paying you, double it.
So they just had their 15th launch, I think, this week. So yeah, I think if they double it,
are you on the beta? Did you get invited to the public beta thing?
I have not got that one
my
yet.
email, but I never got an email or anything.
I'm supposed to be on the beta, just like I'm supposed to be on the full self-driving beta, but neither yet.
So there are other projects like Starlink that are in the works. I know there's Project Kuiper that Amazon is working on. Is OneWeb somebody that's doing something like that?
OneWeb, yep. They actually got bought partially by, is it the UK purchased part of their, like kind of bailed them out and bought them, and they're still actually going to be deploying them. I just don't, honestly, if I were Project Kuiper or whatever, I'd nope out. I'm sorry, you cannot compete with Starlink.
Well,
I mean,
but they haven't launched anything yet.
They haven't launched anything. Like if you're planning to launch something in a year or two, what's the point? Like, how are you going to undercut them? Even with Jeff Bezos's money, how are you going to possibly undercut Starlink?
I'm just wondering if it might be one of these things, kind of like what Apple always does. It's like, let somebody else do it first and then perfect it. Like is there something that Starlink isn't going to quite get to that maybe Kuiper could or something? I'm just I'm just curious about the fact that there's other people working on this as well, and would there even be a point to having, outside of the fact that I'm still a little bit concerned. I'm using the word concerned, doubtful or whatever, that like in the big cities that the bandwidth is going to be there. If like millions of people in one spot were uploading and downloading at the same place on the system, like could it actually handle it? Maybe there needs to be multiple systems for that reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. If you're all relaying to the same physical satellite or 2 or 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could probably get taxed.
There's already HughesNet out there, which does this, but I think their challenge is that they're not in low Earth orbit, I believe. So
right, they're in geostationary orbit.
The latency.
Yeah.
So
the
super bad latency.
Yeah, I mean, it's great if you're literally in the middle of nowhere and have no other choice. It is functional, like you can stream movies on it, but no, other than that, right? Yeah, it's you know, and still, I think that there's actually, I'm guessing, an even bigger play, and maybe this is where I put my tinfoil hat on a little bit, but they could create their own internet. So right. So the way the internet works is it's a network of networks, right? So you have like where you guys live, your own little like network in Dallas and in Iowa, et cetera, and those are connected to bigger networks. Then you have a thing called like UUNet, which like connects all of them here in the States. And then you literally have these ginormous cables stretching across the ocean to connect, you know, other countries and other continents and stuff. But so right now, Starlink, as it's going to function, is just really cutting off the part which is like you and your house connected to your local node, which is then connected to the broader internet, right? Because ultimately, like Starlink still has to be that same kind of a thing. Like the Starlink itself still has to be connected to the broader internet. Otherwise, you could never access any web pages unless they were hosted in Starlink data centers or something, if that existed. But they actually could very easily do that. Like if you guys are familiar with Cloudflare, they're this big CDN and also DNS service and all that.
What's
so
CDN
these guys
mean?
Like, what's that?
CDN, what's that mean?
Content Delivery Network.
Okay.
So, and Quinn from Snazzy Labs did a really great video explaining this in more detail. But like, if you guys go to Fiverr.com, the chances are that you aren't going to like the root source of where those web pages live. Those web pages are hosted or cached locally near you, physically near you. And that's what makes them quick to load. That's what a content delivery network is. It like basically, you know, makes copies of all the different things all over the world where your people are. And so it's faster to access your web pages or whatever. So, and, So anyways, so Starlink is still going to have that same problem, right? Of like, it still has to, like if you have to connect to a satellite, and even if that's a super fast connection, but then it has to go to a data center 5,000 miles away, get that web page, send it back up to Starlink, and then send it back to your house, you still have latency issues. You still have problems. You still have challenges, even if the speeds technically are super high. So there's a bigger challenge there. But if they wanted to, they could become their own content delivery network, their own CDN, cache all these web pages, and you could basically access a private version of the internet that could be isolated from the rest of the internet. Like once they achieve mass scale, they could essentially shut down every single other internet provider in the world.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm extrapolating it too far out, but like if they owned that and they had enough people on there, they could cut the tie from the existing internet that we know here on the planet and just do their own. And they could become a hosting company. They could become a domain registrar like GoDaddy. They could literally take over the entire internet as we know it and become like a $100 trillion company or something. It's really insane the potential of this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, think about now we could have things like the Hubble Space Telescope beaming data to Starlink and then more directly and not have to use like the TDRS satellites or the Deep Space Relay and stuff. Man, only if there was like some stuff about Hubble that was, if it was still ticking along.
He's working hard, folks.
I know.
He's working so hard.
And I'm gonna derail him again because one more thought.
That was a good one.
That same thing.
I was trying to get Joe to have a story before the break.
Data centers in space. You could have your data center floating connected to Starlink. Dude, the potential for this is I don't think people understand it. Like, Battery Day was cool. Everyone's hot on Battery Day. No. This is like so much bigger.
Yeah.
All right,
it does have
rant.
a bigger, yeah.
So maybe you could hack the Hubble Space Telescope.
Or hack an asteroid. Like in that skit from Nathan For You. You guys seen that where Bill Gates hacks an asteroid? Do you guys know what? Have you not seen Nathan For You? Wait, Joe.
We're too busy watching Disney movies.
Wait. Joe Scott. Remember how I made you watch I Think You Should Leave?
Yeah.
Forced you to sit down and watch it. Nathan For You is better than that.
I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I've never actually watched it.
Nathan For You, phenomenal show. Anyway, there's a part where he has to make a movie because he's getting sued. This is all real, by the way. So he has to cut a movie together, and the movie ends up being this horrible Bill Gates impersonator and a Johnny Depp impersonator hacking an asteroid. So there you go.
In the movie that he's making?
In the movie that he's making in the episode where he's getting sued for falsely making a movie in a thing that's a real thing. Yeah, it makes sense, right?
This is like a
I'm
Borat
following, I
thing
think. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this clip from our show. If that's just not enough for you and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to olfpod.com/YT.
And if you want more from us, you can consider becoming a Patreon member. You'll get early access to episodes. You can join our awesome community. You can actually watch us record live and get your name in the credits by going to olfpod.com/Patreon.
So thanks everyone for watching. Check back every Friday for new clips here and new episodes on the main channel.
Thanks, everybody.